Okay, we have Maryland players, Don Carey and Patrick Emilian. If you'll please raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. And please state your name and affiliation before you ask your question. We're going to start right here to the right.
Ryan Hennessy, NBC 13 in Birmingham. For both of you, playing the #1 team in the country right now, and Brandon Miller, one of the best players in college basketball, but 0 points. Do you look into the 0 points, the injury potentially, or do you expect full strength out of him?
You want to expect the best from that team, so probably expect them to be at full health and full throttle and going into this game, really. But, they have other good players as well. So really just, sticking to the game plan that we have and focusing on our strategy as well.
We'll go to the front, and then we'll go here to the right.
Hey guys, Ben Reitman, WNBC Sports. Your defense has really been your calling card all season long. Going up against Alabama tomorrow, are there any big changes you guys are going to implement, or is it just kind of more of the same defensively?
Not necessarily any big changes, just really focus on transition and preventing their three. They have a lot of good three-point shooters, so just putting an emphasis on that.
Here to your right.
Joe Goodman, AO.com. Don, what did you think of Alabama's game yesterday? What were your impressions of the game?
They're a deep team. They play fast. They shoot a lot of threes, athletic, well coached. And they just have that pace. They've been playing at that pace all year long, really. But they make a lot of threes, and they're good at that.
To the front.
Ben Dixon, Testudo Times. For Pat, can you talk about your opportunity playing in the NCAA tournament, and then kind of the process these past 24 hours of shifting gears from the high of that win, and then immediately preparing for the #1 overall seed in the tournament?
Yeah, I've been trying to get here my whole college career, so I've been enjoying every step of it so far. And it's a quick turnaround, just like the Big Ten tournament. So we're just getting used to being very excited and then locked in a couple minutes after on our next game.
Far right here.
This is for both you guys. I guess Patrick first. Defensively, Alabama has caused a lot of teams issues this year with their length. And just the short turnaround you guys have viewing them is kind of what are some things you're going to have to watch out for tomorrow defensively?
Yeah, like you said, they have a ton of length, 1 through 5. So just being aware of that and knowing that they're going to have that extra step, and they're all three-point shooters too. So really just emphasizing that they're going to be more athletic likely, and they can shoot the ball. So we're just going to have to be gritty and stop them.
Over here to your left.
Don, Arizona is I think they're 8.5 point favorite, for almost 4-1 to win the game. Do you guys use that as motivation, or does that anger you?
No, they're the #1 team in the country, and I didn't even know the spread really. But I think if we just play our best brand of basketball, then we have a chance to beat anybody in the country, really. So it's really just about us more than an opponent, really.
Far right.
Patrick, what are your thoughts about going up against Charles Bediako?
Yeah, it's another Canadian fella, so I'm looking forward to that. He's a really talented guy, big player, a lot of length, so I'm looking forward to competing against him.
Yeah, for Don again, you mentioned playing your best brand of basketball. What is Maryland's best brand of basketball?
We like to play at a high tempo, cause deflections, cause havoc on defense as well. We're a physical team. And just play together, really. When we share the ball and that the ball's popping, everybody eats, everybody makes shots, and that's kind of hard for the other team to guard.
Far right.
John Zeno with Associated Press. Don, for you, we talked about Brandon's game yesterday, but I don't know how much film you've gotten to watch, but obviously some. What has stood out to you about Brandon Miller's game?
He can score all 3 levels, really. He's a confident player. His team believes in him. His team gets him the ball in the right spots where he wants it at. And he doesn't really force the issue. He lets it come to him. But like I said earlier, him having a lot of good other players on his team kind of helps that out for him as well, because they could always branch off and create for themselves as well.
Right here. Front.
Yeah, for either one of y'all, you take anything away from the first game, or is it a whole new slate? How do you guys look at it?
It's a whole new slate. West Virginia was a heck of a team, but once that game ended, we kind of cleared that out, and so far right now it's just the next game mentality.
Front row.
Guys, obviously playing Alabama in Birmingham, it's no secret the crowd's probably going to be in favor of Alabama. What are you guys doing to prepare for the crowd noise tomorrow, and how is that going to factor into the game?
I think we're all aware of that, so I think the big step for us is just to be mentally aware and mentally prepared for that. We had a lot of road games this year that's been like sold out crowds against us, so it's nothing that we're not used to. It's just we look at it as another road game really, and we got a lot of mentally tough guys, so I believe in this group of guys to get the job done.
Front row.
For Don, obviously you've been shooting the ball really well recently. Alabama's the top 3 perimeter defense in the country. Has that been a conversation these past 24 hours, and what's the focus there going in?
In terms of my three-point shooting, really, it's just a credit to my teammates finding me, really, when, in different rotations and things like that. And then, obviously, my confidence is high because I've been consistently shooting at a high clip. But in terms of Alabama's defense, I think we just got to play Maryland basketball, penetrate and kick, get in the gaps, make them rotate, and everything else will open up for itself.
2 right here in the front.
Yeah, this question is for both of y'all. Pretty unique situation here. This state is split down the middle as far as fandom goes. What is y'all's message to Auburn fans?
You got that.
You got a big dog.
I mean, I've been hearing that Auburn fans going to be in the building kind of rooting for us, but if they rooting for us, we appreciate that. If not, we look at it like a road game. And, it's just about the guys that's on the bench, managers, the whole staff. As long as we come together, I think that's enough alone. But, we'll appreciate Auburn if they root for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to come support Maryland basketball, then we're here for it. We can use all the help we can get.
Nick Alvarez, AL.com. 2 years ago, I think Dante and Akeem were on the team that lost to Alabama with the spot on the Sweet 16 on the line. Have they mentioned anything about kind of getting Alabama back for that one? I think Javon Quinterly is really the only player Bama has that was on there too.
Yeah, I mean, those are 2 guys that bring it regardless of situation. They don't really need extra motivation for games. I think they both just come locked in every game, and I'm sure, like they've treated every game, it's a win or die. So they're going to bring the same mentality that they always do.
Any more questions? Okay, guys, you're free to go to the locker room. And again, the locker room will be open till 2:15. Stealing your idea of how to do it. Table 10.
This is not my idea. This is the NCAA's
Let's
idea.
just give you the credit.
Thank you. We have realized that there is a misprint on our practice schedule, so we're supposed to have 10 minutes in between our practices,
Okay.
which will then bump our press conferences down. I will work to get you a new one
So-
of these.
So we're going to start it.
Hogan.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well. You ready to go?
Whenever you are. Not Kennesaw State. They just got blocked at the buzzer. It's a good play. Straight to questions.
Okay, at this time we've got Coach Kevin Willard, and we're going to go straight to questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic, and please state your name and affiliation. And make sure your cell phones are silenced, please. Okay, we'll start in the middle back.
Hey, Kevin, John Talty of AL.com. You kind of joked yesterday after the game about some of the road struggles that you guys have had, and it wasn't so bad being down where you were. It's going to be a lot of Alabama fans here tomorrow. How do you kind of help your team avoid getting off to a slow start and get going and not letting the crowd take over?
Yeah, I mean, we just experienced it in the Big Ten tournament. You know, Indiana had 17,000 fans. We got off to a good start. It's just something you got to deal with. It's a bad thing about being the 8-9 seed. It's why you always don't want to be the 8-9, because you're going to get a home game on your second game. But I think we've played in enough venues. I don't think the crowd's the factor. I think if you look at Alabama's roster, I'm more worried about that than I am the crowd.
Kevin McNulty, Testudo Times. Coach, you raved about practice on Wednesday. How was practice today? What was the main focus?
Yeah, practice was okay today. I mean, guys were in good spirits, good focus. It's tough to kind of go. It was more of a mental day. You know, just get these guys to understand Bama personnel, kind of what they're doing in their pick and rolls. We'll spend tonight more time on what they do defensively, but today was more or less put the game plan in, and really, it was such a talented roster trying to get these guys to understand personnel, because I think personnel more than anything with this team is critical.
Far right. Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated. Kevin, 30 years ago, you were around for a pretty big second-round upset with your dad coaching. Wondering if there's anything he did just in terms of mindset, general preparation, that maybe you've learned from.
No, he took his team to Magic Kingdom the day before. I remember because I was with him. That wasn't Magic Kingdom. It was the one with the movie one. You know, he just Universal. Thank you. You're handy up here. He took him to Universal and just kind of kept it relaxed. Same thing with us. We're gonna go. I think we're gonna go to Topgolf later. Kind of get him out of the hotel. Maybe Cheesecake Factory. Get out of hotel food, but. Yeah, I think the most thing is every team's different, Pat, and I think this team, my team's, they're an older team. They kind of get it. They understand the challenge. I like that about them. You know, they understand that Alabama's really good. They're very talented. So really just letting them enjoy the experience, but kind of get them focused for tomorrow.
Barry Spurling, the Washington Post. Kevin, you talk about personnel as a coach who appreciates talented and good players. What's the scouting report on Brandon Miller?
Oof. Well, you know, the funny thing about this roster is I think this is the most talented roster I've seen in college basketball since the 93-94 Kentucky team. I think Coach Pitino's 93 with Antoine Walker and Walter McCarty. This team reminds me very similar to that team with the length, athleticism, how unselfish they play. Very similar point guards. You know, I love the way Javon Quinterly's playing right now. I'm happy for him. I've known him since he was in 9th grade. You know, the issue with Brandon is, you know, he has such good range. You know, so it's not like you can just. You know, and he's so talented off the dribble, and he uses his size. You know, everyone says he's Paul George, and it's a really good comparison because I think that's who he reminds me of. You know, you just can't. You're not going to sit there and say, okay, we're going to pressure him and make him dribble. He can dribble, and he can make plays, and he's unselfish. So, you know, we're going to try to switch up some guys on him, maybe put some taller guys on him. But again, you just can't focus on him. He didn't score last night, and they scored 96 points. Like. That's like I haven't seen that, and that's why I think this team reminds me of that 93-94 team, because you know they had guys that if one guy didn't play well, they had 9 guys. They had 2 All-Americans coming off the bench. So it's a talented roster, and I think what I'm really impressed with them, you know, I've watched their last 4 games now, is how unselfish they are. They really pass the basketball. It's not a complicated offense, but it's a good offense because they're unselfish.
In the back, or here, and then we'll go to the back.
Ben Dixon, Testudo Times. Coach, you mentioned you're going to do a deeper dive into it tonight, but Alabama, third in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, third in perimeter defense. What do they do so well on that end that'll present some trouble for you guys?
It's because of how they play offensively is why they're good defensively. If you know Nate, they're trying to shoot threes and they're trying to get dunks. So I guess in practice, you're trying to stop the three and you're trying to stop dunks. And so I think that's because they're such a talented roster, they're going against each other. They're trying to shoot threes in practice. I'm sure they're trying to stop the threes in practice, and they're trying to get dunks in practice, so they're trying to stop dunks in practice. So I think it just kind of the way they play offensively kind of dictates how they play defensively. And so they're very aggressive. They switch out really well. They play a really good drop coverage on pick and roll where they're trying to get you to take mid-range shots, which they don't want to take. They take very few mid-range shots, if any. I think the only one I've really seen take one is Miller and Javon Quinterly. No one else has taken a mid-range. So I think because of the way they play offensively, it really helps them in the way they play defensively.
In the back.
Mike Rodak with AL.com. On Brandon, Nate's kind of mentioned how he's dealing with a groin injury the last couple games. Have you noticed anything different about the way he's played or the way they use him compared to before that?
No, I mean, he's such a talented player. He's been through a lot. He's also a freshman that's gone through his first full college season. So I think, like I said, I don't think they really needed him last night. So it's pretty impressive that you scored 96 and you don't need the second pick in the draft. So, no, I think he's big time. I just think he took a nice night off and well-deserved.
We're going to go here in the front middle.
Kevin, in terms of you guys, like how you played this year and how you'll play tomorrow, what version of that is how you expect to play next year, 3 years, 5 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, we press, but we really don't press. We will get much more aggressive as we get deeper. I want to get to the point where we have 2 or 3 presses, not just one press. Right now, when you take over a job and you have 11 new guys that have never played yet, 7 guys that have played for 3 different guys, you got to make sure you're really simple and you don't sit there and all of a sudden get them going, remembering what the last coach told them or the last coach from that. So once we kind of get classes after classes after classes, we will probably play much more aggressive than we have played, especially at home. I mean, our home court advantage is probably as good as anywhere in the country. And so when you get 17,009 going crazy, it's the ultimate style to play when you have that kind of home court advantage. So we will be much more aggressive as I go farther and farther down.
Kevin, I know you guys kind of leaned into a lot of national pundits picking West Virginia yesterday. Are you guys embracing the underdog role tomorrow, or is it just another game against a really talented team?
No, I don't know if I'd be honest. I'd be shocked if our kids knew who everyone picked. They're watching Netflix, I don't know if they know that. I mean, like Pat's like a well-known. I've known Pat forever. He's like one of the most national guys. They wouldn't know who Pat is. Don't take that the wrong way. It's just they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. I mean, I know who everybody is, but so no. I mean, I think they understand the challenge at hand. That's what I've liked about this group. When we had Purdue on the road, Purdue at home, no one picked us. No one's picked us all year, but these guys don't look at it that way. I don't think this generation looks at it that way from a standpoint of they're so inundated with Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I don't think they know who the national media is picking. I don't think they're turning on. I hate to say it, sorry everybody, but they're not picking up Sports Illustrated. It's just not this generation. I do, so don't write anything bad about me. I still follow everybody, but this generation doesn't do it.
Kind of just building off of that, there's been a lot of upsets in this South bracket. Do you use that as motivation to the players, or do you talk to them about that? Does it?
No. It's you got to focus on trying to stop Alabama. You can't sit there and say, hey, that team beat that team. That's great. No, I mean, like, you know, our focus is on Alabama. Like, you can't focus on anything else besides trying to stop Alabama. That in itself is a challenge. So that's going to be our sole focus.
Do we have any questions from our Zoom audience?
You love Zoom.
I love Zoom. We have none.
Zoom doesn't like you today.
One, two, three. Just pass the mic down.
Want me to go first, or?
Sure.
Okay. Again, Mike Rodak with AL.com. One of the quirks about this being in Birmingham is you also have Auburn fans here tomorrow at the same session. Does that play into it at all? And give a message for them?
I would love for the Auburn game to be second. I'm hoping Auburn wins, because then their fans will stick around. I'm afraid if Auburn loses, then at 9:40 at night, knowing Auburn fans are probably going to the bar.
It's hard to follow up that. But the quick turnaround, how do you kind of balance preparing versus not preparing too much, like watching too many games versus not enough? Like, how do you balance that with the fast turnaround here?
I think you just have to get a feel for your kids. You know, we did recovery last night. We talked to them a little bit about it. We watched film this morning. We just practiced. And again, this generation does, I think, because they're so well connected, they've played against guys in AAU. They do have a better feel for who guys are. This team has picked up scouting reports very well, and I think the fact that we really focus mostly on personnel when we do scouting. I don't do nearly as much plays or how we're going to stop plays. You know, we have our defense and we just play our defense. It's a little bit easier this time of year because we are just hyper-focused on personnel.
Kevin, Joe Goodman, AL.com. Do you have a message for the well-lubricated Auburn fans?
Yeah, stick around. What? You know, should be a good game. And it's 9:40 at night. I mean, what else is there to do in Birmingham? You know, it's like, come watch a great game and chill out. And, you know, I think the NCAA sells beer now. I'm not sure. Do they? Yeah, I mean, like, it's a great place to be. It's going to be a good game. They got a great game. Why not?
Any more questions?
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it.